Meanwhile, in the realm where the original Reality Bites exists, cast members are discussing the nuances that they want to place in the next scene. Did you people notice that while we were suspended above the ocean near the Golden Gate Bridge in a holographic image that can only be seen in the archetypal realm where the Reality Bites 2 exists? I did notice that. That must mean that we can not only see into the future, but we can see to the realm of archetypes where Reality Bites 2 exists in the future. Suddenly, they look again to the realm where Reality Bites 2 is taking place and are approached by Leilana Pierce. Hi, Winona. I'm Leilana Pierce, the archetypal character that was created by you. This is amazing. I'm talking to my own character. I want to tell you something, Winona. There's a guy named Mike Meyer from Chicago who would really like to meet you. In the early 90s, where you are, he's a student at Loyola University in Chicago studying accounting. He fell in love with you watching Heathers and feels that you are his predestined lover. In the year 2022, where he is now, he is a college graduate who has worked in accounting, among other things, but wants to make movies with you. I would love to meet him. How can I? It happens. I happen to know that he will be seeing Reality Bites at a theater in Chicago when it comes out. Maybe you should wait for him outside of the theater. When he departs from the theater, you could surprise him. Imagine his sheer excitement at unexpectedly seeing you, Winona Ryder, star of Reality Bites, the movie he just saw, outside of the theater after he watched it. I think that's an amazingly wild and exciting idea that would be too thrilling and enlivening to pass up. Let's do it. Let's think about what we are going to say to him in advance. Yeah, we should. Meanwhile, in the archetypal realm where Reality Bites 2 exists, Mike and Leilana decide to go to the Pancakes by the Bay for breakfast. They are eating their breakfast, watching a portrayal of a diner scene from Reality Bites, performed by two young people. The actor and actress are dating in real life, having fallen in love. During the performance of their scenes, they are having a fight and abruptly end the scene. It seems that the guy who is portraying Troy is having an affair with a woman who in real life looks like Winona Ryder. Mike and Leilana is disappointed by this, decide to go back to Mike's condominium to perform some William Shakespeare dialogue. Mike and Leilana thoroughly enjoy the performance of Shakespeare dialogue. Sit on the couch late into the evening, drinking beer and having a deeply philosophical conversation. It feels so good to be in your presence, Leilana, to drink beer and to feel your touch. You have such an insightful mind and beautiful soul. Yeah, Mike, you and me, some beer and some fascinating conversation. That's all we need. Yeah, Leilana, you and me, some beer and passionate love. You got it. That's all we need. Um, my acting performances elevate my soul to a place of sublime peace of mind and transcendent pleasure. I agree, Leilana. This transcendent pleasure is not only a pleasure of the physical form that we inhabit, but it takes us on an excursion into the undiscovered depths of the human soul that can only be seen by enlightened minds that have crossed over from the merely living form of existence in the tangible world of human interaction to a world of sensuality and pleasure as we stare into the boundless expanse of immortality. It is quite a pleasure. All of a sudden, Mike and Leilana hear a couple fighting in the street below his condominium. It is the guy and woman who portray Troy and Leilana. I hear people from our theater fighting. Let's straighten them out. Let's perform some more William Shakespeare. Mike and Leilana perform some more dialogue. Here's an excerpt from it. Which one? Let's see. The Taming of the Shrew. I'll start with the introduction. The Taming of the Shrew. Introduction by Dorothy Macmillan. So I know what I'm reading before I go into this. Michael Bogdanov's modern dress production of The Taming of the Shrew in 1979 was well received in terms of its theatrical competence, but a number of critics felt that, however well done, it had better not been done at all. Michael Billington, in The Guardian, doubted that there was any reason to receive a play that seems totally offensive to our age and our society. My own feeling is that it should be put back firmly and squarely on the shelf. Suggestions of censorship, as it were, have at least the merit of indicating that the offending object is being taken seriously. Nor is Billington the first to find the shrew a peculiarly damning blot on Shakespeare's output. Shaw famously registered shame at the Lord of creation moral implied in the wager and the speech put into the woman's own mouth. The shrew has generally proved a bit of a facer for those who claim that Shakespeare is a great universal genius with the ideas that transcend the limitations of his time. Hence, the tendency of modern readings and productions either to imply that Shakespeare did not really acquiesce in the apparent patriarchal assumptions of the taming plot, nor the reductiveness about female charm implied in the Bianca's defection from maidenly modesty, or to suggest that even if he did, the usefulness of the play for the 20th century is to expose the latent misogyny and brutality that still form the real infrastructure of our bien pensant, politically correct culture. Do I sound like a douchebag? Okay. One way of distancing Shakespeare from the implications of the taming plot has been to repair the broken frame of the play, increasing the significance of the sly plot by importing material from the anonymous taming of a shrew, printed in 1594. So it was originally called The Taming of a Shrew. Okay. Not The Taming of the Shrew. Okay. And possibly a memorial reconstruction of a Shakespearean original. The taming and submission of Catherine can be made to appear an unattainable and possibly rather vulgar male fantasy of domination, a dream of empowerment, not unlike the violent fantasies of Pirate Jenny in Brecht's Threepenny Opera. Alternatively, the play can be made to appear more coherent by privileging one or other of its generic modes. On the other hand, by ignoring the incipient psychological complexity in the treatment of Catherine in particular, she is, after all, not the favorite child of her father and Bianca's. Butter wouldn't melt in her mouth demeanor, might irritate more than a shrew. And taking the whole as a farcical romp with no power to move or upset. On the other side, the farcical nastiness can be played down in favor of modern notions of relationship where all is fair between the couple because they really love each other, win through to equality within properly constituted hierarchy, and are even, in the most sentimental versions of such a reading, complicit in Kate's response to the wager. Certainly, H.J. Oliver, in his introduction in the New Oxford edition of the play, feels that Shakespeare is not having provided a generically consistent play as a consequence of his youthfulness when he devised it. It is a young dramatist's attempt to mingle two genres that cannot be combined. Somebody really thought about this stuff. Okay. But if generic miscagnation, never saw that word before, okay, is an effect of youth, then it is surprising to find it again in All's Well That Ends Well and Measure for Measure. Since in these plays, it does much to earn the description problem plays. It might be well to consider if this is not also the effect of the shrew, the clash of farcical folktale and the taming plot with the legitimate desires of both Petruchio and Catherine for lives that they can live, betrays the inconsistencies and half-truths that are daily tolerated and evaded. There seems to be no possible way of doubting that Shakespeare presents Catherine's speech of submission to an idealized hierarchy of gender relationships without irony. But he surely does not do so without thought or without demonstrating the worst that could be said about its potential for physical and psychological tyranny. The rewards of Catherine's submission in life, as it were, are presumably those good days and long that Petruchio has already stated as his goal, since it comes as a definitive culmination to the action. The audience is left with no sense of need for his endless repetition. It frames a way of life, while shrewiness is, on the contrary, a lifetime career, the future of Bianca and the widow. This is not modern, but it's not too bad in the circumstances. And the reward of the theater completely, as Papa's looking to pluck the disaster of Catherine's eloquent dignity, but it seems not worth the trouble. Okay, scene one before an alehouse on a heath. Enter hostess and Sly. Okay. I'll feed you in faith. A pair of stocks, you rogue. You're a baggage. The Slys are no rogues. Look at the chronicles. We came in with Richard Conqueror. Therefore, some tiny print. So I'm just Paucus Palibris. Let the world slide. You will not pay for the glasses you have burst? No, not a Dedier. Go by. Saint Geronimy, go to thy cold bed and warm thee. I know my remedy. Third or fourth or fifth borough. Huntsman, I charge thee. Tender well, my hounds. Brock, Merriman, the poor curs embossed, and couple Clowder with the deep-mouthed Brock. Saw'st thou not how silver made it good at the hedge corner in the coldest fault? I would not lose the dog for £20. Why, Bellman is as good as he. He cried upon at the mare's lost, and twice a day he picked out the dullest scent. Trust me, I take him for the better dog. Thou art a fool. I would esteem him worth the blah, blah, blah. Let's go to some other scene. Is it possible, Licio, that Mistress Bianca doth fancy any other but Lucentio? I tell you, she bears me in fair in hand. There's a... Unless you're the proper for your read. Let's see. Let's go to the Romeo and Juliet stuff. I don't feel like reading that kind of stuff right now. Okay. Scene 2, Capulet's Orchard. Enter Romeo. He jests his scars. I never felt a wound. Enter Juliet above the window. But soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou her maid art more fair than she? Be not her maid, for she is envious. Her vessel livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks as she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all of heaven do entreat her eyes till they twinkle into their spheres, till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy radiance stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand? Oh, there were a glove upon that hand. That I might touch that cheek. She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night being over my head as a winged messenger of heaven unto the white upturned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him. When he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air, O Romeo, deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn by love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this? 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montag. What's a Montag? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, or any other part belonging to a man. I'll be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo, what you were not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I never shall be Romeo. What man art thou, thus bescreened in night, so stumblest on my counsel? By name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montag? Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike. How canst thou hither tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art. If any my kinsmen find thee here, with love's light wings I did overperch these walls. For stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me. If they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more paler in thine eye than 20 their swords. Let them look thou but sweet. And I am proof against their enmity. I would not for the world they saw thee here. I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes, and thou but love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogue wanting of thy love. By whose direction foundst thou out this place? That love that first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent them eyes. I know I'm no pilot, yet were thou as far as that vast shore wash with the farthest sea I should advise you for such merchandise. Then now thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush bepaint my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain then I would have spoke. But farewell, compliment. And I will take thee at thy word. If thou swearest, thou may prove false that lovers Persians, they say Joe. Lady, by yonder blessed moon that dips with all the silver fruit tree tops, I vow. Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconsistent moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. Which shall I swear by? Do not swear at all, or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, and which is the god of my elder tree, and I'll believe thee. My heart says, well, do not swear, although I join thee. I have no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be. Ere one can say light and sweet good night, this bud of love by summer's ripening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, as sweet repose and rest. Come to thy heart. Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? Unsatisfied. What satisfaction canst thou have tonight? The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and I would at the word to give again. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose? Love, to be frank, be giving thee again. Yet I wish for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. Here's calls within. I hear some noise within. Dear love, I can sweet. Stay but a little. Oh, blessed night.